Howdy, everybody.
Hello, everyone. We are starting in a few minutes. We just want to wait for some more people to join.
Okay.
Okay, hello everyone. To today's online webinar about how to create VR trainings. I will just do a quick introduction about the topic and why we are actually doing these kind of webinars. And yeah, so let me see. So yeah, I would actually like to ask everyone in the beginning, because there was like these 3 different agenda items, which ones do you actually think is most interesting? Like, is it the first one, to get an overview of the tools you need to create VR trainings? Is it second, understand disadvantages of different solutions? And third, cost and efficiency recommendations of VR trainings. So if you can just maybe type right now in the chat box if it's 1, 2, or 3, so that we can also get an impression and maybe like focus what we're talking about a little bit more in that direction. If like there's a clear, a clear preference for one of these points, that would be great. So let's check that. 1, 2, okay. So everyone is about 1 and 2.
Saatlere kadar kırdım yani. Hani bir saate kadar indirdim bir adamın bir ayda vereceği maliyet.
Your microphones, that would be great. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, everyone. So yeah, As we all know, like during Corona times, the world has really changed and we're working together very differently today. And yeah, for example, it doesn't matter anymore so much how we look like, right? Because we are only seeing like a very small picture of ourselves through video Zoom calls or different webinar tools. And yeah, and to this remote working, really lots of companies have already announced that they will allow people, their employees, to really work from home, at least until next year. But there's also lots of big companies which have decided that you really don't need to work from the office anymore throughout your entire working life, basically, which is great. And of course, it's not only big companies which have decided that, but also lots of smaller companies. So yeah, what we are seeing as XR Bootcamp is that there's such a huge need right now for yeah, more advanced tools to enable remote collaboration. Yeah, because what we're seeing is that low-skilled workers are still on site, are doing the factory working work, are doing the service work. So the managers basically are sitting at home, but the workers have to still do the on-site operations. So how do you train them, and how do you assist them? So
self-governance. To return the shopping cart,
one second.
Convenient task, and one which we all recognize as the correct appropriate.
Okay, so if you could all mute yourself.
The shopping cart is objectively right. There are no
and yeah, and there's like right now for augmented reality and mixed reality and virtual reality, there's just a huge potential. You can see lots of studies online which are actually calculating the potential. And there's one study by PwC that says that during the next 9 years, there's actually $1.5 trillion added to the global economy just by these new technologies. So also because of that, of course, there is a huge of new positions in augmented and virtual reality. There is, for example, this study, which has been done by Hired.com, which is one of the largest platforms, job platforms in the US. And yeah, and there's just like this actually showing the development from 2018 to 2019. And yeah, people and companies are looking by 1,400% more than before. Yeah, and of course, like all big companies from Facebook, Microsoft to Google to Apple are right now investing into VR/AR because they also see that this is basically, yeah, the next tool that everyone is going to use. So yeah, I would like to really start and dive into the topic we have been seeing today. So Christian, do you want to start introducing yourself and sharing your screen?
Of course. So, host disabled participant screen sharing. You should allow me to share my screen, or
yeah, I will give you the hosting, and then you will just in the end you will have to give the host back to Ferhan, okay?
no worries, can do that.
But so can he do this because he's host. Yeah, 1 second. Oh, you have to Christian my.
We can start.
So unfortunately, there's one person here, Claris Solutions. We actually made you host of this meeting. Sorry for that, but that was wrong. Can you please give the hosting rights to Christian Mai, who is our our speaker for today, and we cannot get it back from you because there is only one host in the meeting. Claris Solutions, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. So I try to do it.
Perfect, thank you.
Wait a minute. Where I can.
You just have to, in the participants list, you basically have to right click on Christian Mai, yes. And then you will give him basically the host, Christian Mai, it should say.
So.
Perfect, perfect, thank you.
Now I'm the host. Okay, perfect.
Very interactive, you know?
Yeah, that's great. That's future. That's the future everybody's talking about. Okay, So hello everybody, my name is Christian May. I'm a solutions engineer at Innoactive, and basically I'm the front face to our customer, clients, partners. I always try to get our software integrated with your software, with your needs, with your processes, and try to help. I also have an academic background, so if you're interested in that, you can visit my webpage and look into my research, or just contact me if you're interested in that. So I would like to start to give you a brief introduction on our software, but mainly tell you about the story why we built this software, because that might be interesting to you, because you might be at the same point of your journey. And we have basically two tools. This one tool is the Innoactive Creator. This is the thing you will touch very early when you start building VR trainings, because it helps you to build VR trainings. And later in your journey, you will find the need to distribute your trainings to multiple locations and have access control and be secure that you can deploy your applications. Then you will ask for a tool like our portal, a Netflix-style distribution platform. But today, I'm going to talk about the Creator. And I will talk a little bit about what we have seen in the past, so share some success stories. So one success story we have is actually by Volkswagen, who started with working with us very early and are now close to going productive with our tools. And they have already trained 10,000 people just with the POCs they built, with the test applications they built. But they also did the next step to go international to all their brands. And they also started to include XR studios, so external agencies that actually build VR applications for them. And this is what it's about, huge numbers. So what we are going for with our software, our work, is not building like one or two applications. We are aiming for enabling you and our partners to build hundreds of applications. That's basically what Volkswagen is going to do in the next years. Same need, aviation, Flughafen München, so Aeroground Munich, they also started with us to build their first POCs and trying to make use out of it. And what they found is actually that the trainees love to use VR as a tool. So in the earlier days, when you had to train people for their work at the runway, they might be really, really boring tasks. But by using virtual reality, it was such a fun for them that they said at Aeroground Munich, it does not only save time and costs, it also motivates our people to do it. So these are two partner stories we have. We like to share. And the last one is Lindy, who actually have another issue. So they are selling big plants, and if something goes wrong on a plant, there's a huge cost effect in it. So what they want to have is something they can sell with their plant. So they asked us to use our portal as a distribution channel. So as soon as they sell a plant, they will give our portal with it, or sell our portal with it, and actually create revenue with the trainings for virtuality they are offering there to their clients. And this is the whole bandwidth. So what everything is going for is produce more content in less time, and that's what we need to achieve. So I will tell a little bit about our experience. So usually I will speak from a point of view of a person in a company that is tasked to build a VR training for the first time. So really, who needs to get started building the first training. And in the past, we have been an agency ourselves. So we actually know it from the other side. Now we are a software provider, but in the past we did that. And we saw the first thing you always have to do is set up a scene. You need 3D geometry, you need assets, and so on and so forth. This is not where we focus on, because in the past, there's a lot of companies that actually took this challenge and made it better. What we are focusing on is the creation of trainings. So the process, giving this 3D geometry, this 3D world you build up, a logic. And what does it mean? Transfer know-how. You have a trainer, somebody who trains people in doing something, and you have a developer, somebody who's really good in building VR applications. They're from different planets. So how do you bring them together? And this is basically what we found. It's really, really hard to find a common language for them. Then you need to define the concept. How does a VR application look like? How do you define grabbing something? How should highlights be like? There was a lot of negotiations with your clients and a lot of things you need to write down, that you need to define again and again. This was costly and time consuming. If you have all of that, then you need to align on efforts. So you need to estimate how much will it cost at the end to build something. Even internally, if you're a company and interested into building VR trainings, you will be asked to estimate the return of invest. And finally, in the fifth step you will go through is you have finally everything together, you build it, you need to iterate. And changing something was not easy because everything that we built was unique. So it was a lot of effort. And now think about you're asked to build 30 apps. Some of our customers aim at 100 apps a year. So we said, okay, we need tools for that. And that's why we came up with the Creator, and the Creator basically helps you in doing that. So first, transfer know-how. Unity today is built for developers, but actually trainers know how a process should look like. So what we built is a visual interface that enables trainers, subject matter experts, to work in Unity and build a training process. So give the 3D geometry a logic. Make it easy, make it simple. Define concepts. We have something we call a base template. So this is basically your standard of description of a VR application. It's a tools. It's a set of scripts and of conditions, behaviors, highlights, like something like a circle or around a certain object, or even menu items for trainers that are standing next to the training. And this gives you a standardization of your training. So if you are asking an agency to do something and you have worked on your training base template, you only have to tell them, use the Creator, use my template, and everything is defined. You don't have to negotiate anymore. Aligning on efforts. Now we know what a training process is worth. So you can simply count steps. How many steps do you have to produce during such a training duration? So you can estimate each step will cost me about 20, 50, 100 bucks. Depends on the complexity of your trainings. And therefore the effort to estimate the rest cost, so the risk, is very, very limited. In this case, it was the barcode scanner on the hand that's needed to develop for this training. And finally, implement, review, iterate. If your base template, your template is defined, so after like your second or third or fourth training that you built, there is no need to implement or review or iterate a lot, because everything is already predefined by the standards we offer with our software to you. I won't go into that. What I want to say is we believe in a community. We alone don't make VR big, and trainings and companies, we don't make it a success just with our software. We need partners, and we need you people to get together and understand how to use VR applications, when to use VR applications. So we also offer a community, and if you're interested in that, be part of it in our masterclass, and of course in our training summit that you will find on our webpage. Okay. Thanks for that. Thanks from my side.
Thank you, Christian. This is Ferhan from XR Bootcamp. I wanted to hand over to talk a little bit about the class itself. And as you mentioned, today is for us is a little bit like a preparation webinar for the masterclass. So at the end of the day, the masterclass is starting, of course, next week. So we already have sign-ups from enterprise track, which is management and design, training design part. And on the other side, we have developers. So this is the first time, as Christian mentioned, that we are, based on the market feedback, we have observed that managers, designers would like to have a very nice and masterclass with developers. So on our side, we would like to actually use this opportunity to match these two different functions in one masterclass program. And how will it work? I will explain very quickly. If there's any technical question, Christian, I'm sure that he will help us on that. But the management side is mostly you will learn the basics of the framework that Innoactive and other trainers will share with you. So how to create a training, process-based training in like in a small period of time, because at the end of the day, it is a rapid development focused class. And on the developer track, it is a little bit different, right? We are actually going to much more details on the Unity, which also the framework that we are using, which is a creator that Christian mentioned, is also based on Unity. So for VR developers, we will go much more into details, because for developers, we want them to be knowledgeable enough to create their own custom behaviors, conditions, and properties based on the briefing of the designer, enterprise training designer. So let me share for both two parties, what does it mean? Like, what can I actually benefit from this class? From especially developer part, it is a great opportunity to be matched with an industry expert. You will understand how your potential client, how the market approach to a transformation of training or VR training. And you will also get the chance to pitch in front of the audience that already successfully deployed their VR trainings. And of course, you can always use this POC project as a reference, and the company representative or companies that you are working with as a reference for your portfolio. So we are assuming like freelancers or VR studios, for even solution providers, even system integrators. This is a great opportunity to see the market, to test with a POC, and then use it as a reference at the end. How about the enterprise designer and manager, project manager perspective? Most of the time, when we talk with different enterprise stakeholders, they always mention that there's some kind of like a chicken and egg problem, that they don't, since they don't have the capability of creation, rapid developing, rapid prototyping skills internally or with their own partners, it's always difficult to convince the lead or the decision maker to invest on a VR transformation project. So we want to, in these 4 weeks, we want to give you enough insights and development skills to you and to your maybe developer teams or partner teams that you would like to bring, how to create a rapid creating a POC in terms of VR training. And of course, you can also bring these skills for your own projects as well. The last thing, which is very important for us, we will have one example project that we will base the class curriculum on, but you will also bring your own training scenario up to some level. I'm sure that Christian will give more information about that if there are any questions, but we also want you to use the flexibility of the framework that we are using, so that you can actually try out how does your potential VR training scenario look like. So, and you will get the result after 4 weeks. And this also goes to the project management, that you will also understand how actually the VR trainer mindset approaches to a project, and you will always iterate with the developer at the same sprint session. So when we look back to the program, I just want to share one thing. So at the end of the 4 weeks, actually, 1 second, I'm gonna go back on the program outline. No, back. one second. That's I will come to the 4 weeks. Yes, this program. So as you see here, we have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, 4-week program. At the end of 2.5 weeks, you will actually see that, as you can see here, that you will start not only learning but also starting to actually work on the POC. And it is important for the manager or designer function to start giving the briefing to the developer, because developer is starting to actually create the POC. But the last week is a sprint week, as you see here. So it should be a lot of template implementation and feedback loop coming from the designer part, because we expect the designer will and the enterprise person will be some kind of like a advocate of the end user. So lastly, if we go to the pitch day. So after 4 weeks, we have an event that we have actually cooperated, and there will be a pitch day either online or physically. Both works for us in front of the audience that you see the representatives here. So you will also get the chance to get direct feedback. And as you see, it is not a full-time master class, so you need to commit at least 3 hours plus the assignment based on your, of course, time. Especially for enterprise track, we expect not more than a few hours. But if you're a developer, of course, you need to commit a number of hours. So in addition to that, of course, we have guest lecturers. One of them is actually with us today, Koomen, who is also our XR Bootcamp Advisory Board. We would like to give as many feedback as possible for those who wants to actually get some insight. How does a VR training look like? So there will be an Innoactive VR training summit happening in the 3rd week of the class, which we will actually have several parallel tracks together. So since we talk about our guest lectures, I would like to introduce Chris Koomen, and he has also a short presentation that he will share with us. So we will make Chris host. So I think he can take over.
Thank you, Farhan. I will set up the masterclass share. This one start. So yes, I am Chris Koomen, working at KLM Airlines, AirFrance KLM, as a VR specialist and consult actually. And yeah, responsible of the VR training that we are building, actually everything that we are doing with VR. I want to share you some slides and a short movie from where we are at this moment and tell you a bit of how did we get there.
Maybe you can also open the full screen so we can see the whole slide.
Is it?
It's not full screen now. In the right button. Okay, maybe we can show the video later if you want.
A year later, this is still the training part of it.
Yeah.
This is also one of the tools that we are using. The pilot can explore the aircraft.
We don't see the video, we see the presentation now.
Why?
I think you share the PPT. I think you should share the whole screen.
It is sharing entire screen, so.
You're on the PowerPoint screen right now.
Yeah. Maybe it's because you have 2 screens. I don't know.
Yeah, you may be sharing the wrong monitor. Or
yeah, exactly.
Or
maybe
share screen. Screen. Let's do it this way. Maybe this is working. Host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, we are taking over, so you can actually continue when we are
Yeah.
explaining. Perfect.
So this was the movie. Yeah. This is where we are at the moment. We start to implement VR training courses into the training courses for the pilot. At the moment, it will be authorized by the authorities to embed it in the course, and we are one of the first airlines, as we know, who are that far with VR in the training courses. And KLM will announce that within the next month, so keep your eyes open on KLM. So this is the cockpit that you saw. This is the aircraft which we do it with a Matterport. I will explain it later to you. There can the pilots walk around the aircraft, highlighted some points out, things that they have to know for their course to get familiarized with the aircraft and do their walk around in virtual reality first before they are even at the airplane itself.
Was this running on the Quest headset, or what headsets does this run on?
This is running on the Quest headset. We also did a 360 movie about the procedures in the cockpit itself. And there you are as a visitor actually flying with the aircraft to see the procedures in real life with real ATC also. But this is not interactive, so you're just watching. One of the biggest question was, of course, how can we maximize the value of virtual reality? So, sorry?
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
the maximize the value of VR for internal operations. That was our first question back in 2015, actually, where we started with virtual reality within the company. And I started with a 360 video, which was interactive for hangar training, where you had the evacuation training for the hangars to train the people there. And we saw a big potential of virtual reality. So we grew up to a team of 9 people constantly working on virtual reality. And yeah, like I said, we are now at the point that we really get it embedded into the company.
I'm looking at this thing.
Oh, could you next slide, please? So how we started was actually just, yeah, with a cardboard. We've got all kinds of headsets, but we don't use them all actually. Sometimes it's just experimental to see how these things work. And from there, we take it with us as a choice if we make a decision, if we go with the training continued. Each headset has its own benefits to choose from. So you have to understand all of those before you start picking one. So you can make the best choice of it. Like a 360 movie, you can play it in a Vario, but it's a bit of an overkill. You better use an Oculus Go to do that as long as we can. But for pushback training, for example, you should use a Valve Index because you need the visuals in there and a big PC behind it to get it running. So when you know all these kind of things, it's much easier to pick your best choice for starting with virtual reality. And I started very easy with a cardboard and a simple geared VR camera it was, yeah. By making mistakes, I started learning. One of the first things I did was get that camera, put it on my head and walk to the aircraft. And then you saw, when I put it on the glasses, I saw, whoa, that makes you very sick. So I learned immediately, don't walk with a headset, with a 360 camera. That's just not working. But by making all those kind of mistakes, you start learning all these things, and then you're getting better and better and better, and you know how to develop these things even easier. Okay, next slide, please. So this is one of the questions that came in the early days, and to give you an insight of how we approach these kind of things. So the question was, we want a 3D map of our aircraft, or all type of aircrafts, but we also want to have it on a desktop, on a smartphone, or on a tablet, but also if you can in VR. So I took all the things that we have, and in this case it was a Matterport that just came in actually at that moment, and took the camera and I walked to the aircraft and make a very small proof of concept, just the business class, I guess, to scan with the Matterport and see the potentials of it. So the business owner said, okay, this looks promising. Can we extend this? I said, yeah, sure. How do you think you want to do this? I said, well, we have some people in Minneapolis who haven't seen the Boeing 787, and they need to get familiarized with it. And the cleaners need to know where to find those stuff and open doors and hatches and these things. I said, well, then we make something for them. So we went to the aircraft, we shoot those photos, stitched together, put the information in it. And then I flew to Minneapolis. I give those cleaners a tablet and let them walk around in a 787. And the day after, they got their first visit in the aircraft. And the first thing they said was, wow, it really feels like, it seems like the real thing that you show us. I said, no, you've seen the real thing. It were photos of the aircraft, actual aircraft. After they were ready with cleaning, they were 15 minutes faster than normal. And one of the biggest advantages was they didn't make any mistakes of it. And this all took place in just 1 week, a very small experiment with just the easy tools that you have to grab. And when you know these kind of things, it's much easier to iterate all those things. Just think about building it. By now,
we have one question actually regarding this. Do you send the VR kits from home correction to the pilots at their homes? And do they require any special equipment in addition to the headset and
No, we will send the headsets to the pilots, Oculus Quest in this case, and they are quite fast familiarized with them. That's why we choose for the headset, for the Quest, because it's an easy tool to use everywhere on the world. So easy to set up. You don't need a heavy PC on it. You've got internet connection on it. Well, it's not necessary for the moment, but so that's why we choose for the Quest, for the flexibility on it.
Okay, perfect. So we have, I think, one last slide.
Yeah, it's one last movie about the Matterport, what we did with the aircraft, just to show you how it looks in the end.
Chris, I'd love to see you release this application on the Oculus Store or the Steam Store. It would be great for PRs to let the general public understand some of the training pilots go through. And it also would be a great way to introduce young people to the career of being a pilot.
Yeah, I can imagine that, but I'm not sure if we will do that because this is only specific for one type of aircraft that we are building, for the Embraer 190, I guess it was. And it's specific for KLM pilots. So this is very specific for the moment.
Perfect. I have one question, Chris. In terms of the rapid development capability of KLM, the whole KLM VR center, how do you feel that, is it so important for you? How many iterations or different prototypes you did and you come to this final versions? I really would like to hear more about that, because sometimes people think that, okay, I will create one VR training, one pilot, immediately it will be scaled, and then ROI is there. So
no, this is a good slide to start with. One of the ideas was to get a jetway bridge training. And I said to one of the developers, just make a box and control it with a steering wheel of a truck simulator, the joystick actually, to maneuver the box to wherever you want with a joystick. And he did that in quite a very fast time. I was surprised about it. Yeah. And then we said, okay, then we said to some business owners, what do you think about this idea? Imagine this is a bridge that you could connect to the aircraft. And he said, well, if you can work it out, perfect, let's see. So we start working this out on a Lenovo Mirage, a 6-DOF headset with a 3-DOF controller. 3-DOF headset it is. And then we brought it to the bridge operators and we said, could you please connect this bridge to this airplane? It's like in real life. The jetway bridge is reacting like real life and all those things. And this operator did it for 20 years and he didn't manage to connect this bridge. So we were looking at him and he said, what's the problem? He said, well, these controllers, it just doesn't feel right. And at that moment, the Quest came out. It was the Rift S reported it to the Rift S where we had 6-DOF, and then there was a huge difference. Suddenly you could connect it to the bridge and it was much easier to do. So it's not just build something and release it then, but check it first with all your customers because they know best what they want. And if you validate that, then you can go back and make the changes and validate it again. And then you finally got this, good working product.
Okay, great. Thank you for this nice presentation, Chris. I'm sure that there will be a few questions. So we have a few more last slides left to share with you in terms of the masterclass. As we see here, rapid development skills for VR development is essential. If you really would like to reach to the seamless experience for your end user, it can be a consumer, it can be a non-VR end user who have never touched any VR device before. But now actually the rapid development skills and the help of the standalone headsets is actually letting us to make it more accessible for everyone. You don't need to be tech savvy to actually start using VR. So in order to wrap up everything that we have discussed today before going to the questions part, we wanted to keep this masterclass short, but we would like to give you the exact skills and actually scenario simulation of a VR training creation. So you will invest maybe 3 hours plus assignment, of course, and then you will get this after 4 weeks you will have an POC. So we have, as we all on all our master classes, mentorship sessions are critical both for both tracks, and we also would like to make sure that you have something concrete at your hand. It can be either a POC that you are creating based on the scenario that you gave as an enterprise designer, or it can be some existing framework project that is already available that will be taught to you. So it is heavily depending on your creativity, what you can bring as an maybe project manager, innovation manager, instructional designer, and from the VR developer side, of course, they will get the chance to see a real industry project from top level companies. And of course, feedback. Both feedback sessions between each tracks, like manager to developer, developer to manager. But you will also get feedback from the people who have already done a lot of mistakes, or they have done a lot of iterations. So you will get the chance to get direct feedback from the top level industry. Yeah. Is there any question we can take, or if you want, let me wrap up for a few more minutes. So our class is, we have a pricing of $2,000. We have different payment plans available. Of course, the class, we are actually finishing the applications shortly. So this is the final info session for today and for this week, and then we will close the applications till the end of this week. But for today, we have actually a discount code that is applicable for today. Maybe our team will write through chat window this discount code which is available today. But I also would like to give the opportunity that for those who wants to actually have a one-to-one call with us, please, we will also write the Calendly link and the discount code to the chat window. So you can arrange one-to-one calls with us if you have specific questions from your perspective, from your company's goals, that we will be happy to answer. But for those who are okay to ask questions today and now, we are happy to answer. So let's start taking questions. You can either open your microphone. Now this is the perfect time to open microphone. So open your microphone or even camera and ask your question to our trainers, to us. Happy to answer in the last 18 minutes. How much coding will be required to do? So it is based on which track that you would like to attend. If you are asking, maybe we can go back to the presentation, the 4 weeks track. Just 1 second, I will show very quickly. Yeah, if you are in the development track, you need to know Unity development, so which is C#, of course. If you are in the management design track, you don't need to know any coding skills, because this is a framework of Innoactive's creator tool, which lets you to create VR training without coding skills. You will need Unity basics, which we will actually give the necessary like materials that you will get the Unity basics from. So, but you don't need to know actually the coding skills if you are on the management side. So your answer is this changing from one track to another. So we also shared the discount code, which is webinar 15 for 15% discount. I think it's around $300 discount, valid until tomorrow. And the masterclass starts next week. And calendar link will be also shared now. Do we need to come in with a partnership? Yeah, that's a very nice question. We strongly suggest if you have already a partner, which is if you are a VR studio or developer freelancer right now, we call it tech integrators. If you have already a client that who is maybe a little bit in between, hesitant to start VR adoption, I think this is an amazing opportunity to convince your potential client how does a potential VR training looks like, and they will get the chance to get to know you and maybe even understand your skills. So we suggest that as a VR studio or VR training provider, VR solution provider, bring your own client. The same thing from enterprise perspective. There are many companies asking us, can we bring our own people from our partner ecosystem or system integrators we are already working and trusting? Perfect. You can come with pairs, so it will not be a problem. I'm answering one by one. On the management track, will the participant need assets, videos, pictures? For storyboarding, yes, I think it will definitely help. But if you don't have anything, I think it's all about how you find things on the internet that is similar, because VR training is not the new thing, right? It is being done by KLM, by Volkswagen, with many partners for several years. So you can also we can also help on you on that. If you have a use case ready, our team can prepare similar use cases already being done by some companies, and you can even select some portions of these videos or processes to better brief your developer that you are being matched with. So what are the use cases which can be created? Is it mostly for procedural training? Okay, this is something that Christian, I would like to hand over this answer to him.
Yes, we basically provide procedural training, but of course everything. Can you see me? I think my.
No, we cannot. Maybe you can
close
and open again.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can hear me. That's I think it's the most important for one. So basically, procedural training is what we support, but it's advanced procedural training. So you can also do branches. You can do loops, more advanced stuff. You also are able to include randomization by additional coding, but this is basically what you will learn in the course. So what we offer is a base template, a basic thing that gets you started. That's what we will learn in the first weeks. So getting started with the creator, the developer will learn how to program for the creator, because we want to emphasize standards so that different teams can work together without the effort to, read into code and learn code over and over again, because everything is unique. We want to provide standards, and that's why you need to learn to program for that. And then in the third or fourth week, if you're interested in something like this, you can ask your developer to write something that helps you to create randomization, or to create some kind of unexpected things that your trainee has to react to.
Yeah, actually, basically the training designer will have the sky is the limit, but from the developer perspective, actually developer will give you the necessary feedback. Okay, this is doable, this is not. So it will be the one who will a little bit like set the borders. But I think starting from the sky is the limit part, and then go down to the much more reasonable part will be the best way that we can actually suggest. So when will be the next VR training masterclass next year? I mean, if there is this is something that we are really trying first time. Most of the time you are probably seeing a lot of webinars, events on this, but this is the first time that in an online remote setting that we are matching people together. We know that it is difficult, but we just successfully finalized one of the master classes, which was actually an advanced VR masterclass with a 4.7 success rating. So we know how to engage people, but it is heavily relying on you. So you have to really attend to the sessions, and you have to interact with your peer. It is very important. For the next year, if this whole structure works, we want to apply this also in different kind of training and masterclass settings. And we will definitely have a few more VR training masterclass, because I could understand that maybe for some of the people, it might be a short notice. So let's see. And but the next one, of course, starting next week. So will we allow for a first week trial period? I think we have, you can have first week trial period, but the refund is half of the money, because the problem is with this class, it is actually very difficult for us, because we have to find another pair for your, because if you go, two of you is a pair, no problem. But if you really go as one person, the other person being matched with you will have a huge problem. So for us, your commitment is also very important. If you are coming with pairs, no problem. It will be easy for us. But otherwise, we have to really replace immediately, and it will not be easy for us. Can this be applied to enterprise architect for something like integration pattern simulation? Christian?
Unmute, yes? No?
Yes.
Okay. Integration pattern simulation. I would need some more information what that should be.
Okay, maybe you can unmute yourself and share, because we don't see your name as well. It says iPhone. Okay, if you have the chance to explain more, it will be great. Justin is asking, is this class best for people already working in industry? When you say industry, you mean VR? Yes. When you say industry, if it is enterprise, manufacturing, automotive, again, the answer is yes, definitely, because you may already have a few training scenarios, or already deployed a few maybe VR training use cases, but in this class, our offering or value is giving you the rapid development skills, both from the design side and from the development side. So it's all about how you can actually rapidly develop POCs and different pilot projects. So we have 9 minutes left. I don't want to pass the time. So if there is any question, we can take. So the class is starting next week. We have a weekly schedule. Usually our assignments are for weekend. This class is being designed based on the thinking of the working schedule. So it's for people who have already a full-time job. So we will also ask to you which time zone you are. So the time will be determined accordingly. Anything, maybe Chris Koomen, would you like to share anything about, since you're also our advisory board, anything you would like to share about the class, or how, from a designer and developer perspective, what is the best way to benefit most from this class?
Well, to start with, just start somewhere. And yeah, in the class, I will in guest lecture also go deeper into how did we build all those kind of things. And it's not so difficult as you think. Just like I give you this example with just a 360 camera, walk around and play with it. It gives you a feeling of how to use these kind of tools and to give you an idea how to work in virtual reality, because it's totally different than on a 2D flat screen. Even making scenarios in 360, you have to keep an eye on everything. So yeah, just start working with a 360 camera and get yourself familiarized with it.
Where do we sign up for the class? Our team will share Calendly link and our class details. As I mentioned, it is our last public info webinar. We will have one-to-one sessions for those interested in signing up the class. So if you have any questions, you can ask now. Christian, anything like maybe you can a little bit give detail about like the technical side of things, like especially Unity related stuff, that would you like to share a little bit technical details or?
Yes, of course. So this is a question that we always ask, like, what do you support? So the thing is, we always try to go for the latest long-term support version of Unity, so 2019.4 at the moment. We also still support 2018, but we would argue for 2019 because of Unity XR. The framework we usually use is Unity XR, but again, the creator is something open, is something that you can use and that you can adapt to your needs. That's really important to understand, because that's really, really unique to all the other tools that you find out there. So if Unity XR is not a framework you want to work with, you will learn in the course how to do it on your own, how a developer can take out the module and put a new module in, like VRTK for the people that already know a little bit about that stuff. It's not much work, not much effort, because we already deliver the framework and we already have everything prepared for you, so it's easy for you to work on.
One thing actually we should also answer, if I don't have a headset, can I join to the class as a management design track? And if I have a headset, what headsets are applicable?
Yes, of course, you can join without a headset. What you can use as a headset, so again, basically you could use everything. What we support out of the box is everything that works with Unity XR. That means Oculus Rift, Oculus Quest, HTC Vive. So basically all the big ones you usually will have at home that should run with the creator. The only thing is Windows Mixed Reality, because they currently are removed from the Unity XR support. So for Windows Mixed Reality, you would have to do some extra steps. Still might be possible.
Okay. One more thing, actually, I would like to ask directly related with when you look at the companies who have already used Creator for their own, is there any company names or use cases that you can give to us, that which companies already start using Creator to have a much more rapid development skills, so we will have a better understanding?
Yes, of course. So you also can have a look at our webpage and look at the reference we give there. And of course, if you talk to us, we give you more details about that. What I already showed is Volkswagen. They are our big success story, because we started with them working on our products like 3 years ago. And if I would have to name a few companies, then Volkswagen is one of the companies, and that's why Malte Hedemann is also in the course, is one of the companies who actually are defining how you can produce VR training applications in a big scale. So this is something I really would refer to, and if you ever get the chance to hear somebody of them speaking, as you will on parallel track to our masterclass, our Innoactive Summit that you can also join to get more information about how to get VR running at your company. These people are the ones you should listen to.
Exactly. They have already let these trainings being tested or even used over maybe thousands of employees, right? So they already have probably witnessed a lot of user feedback, lots of maybe hiccups that they have to deliver. So
it's not only about the trainings themselves. They also have all these processes built up. That's the important thing, because you want to create a lot of trainings. You want to train a lot of stuff with a lot of people, so large numbers, and therefore they're using our tools like the Creator or the Portal to create the stuff and to distribute it to the people. It's really important to set up all these processes that ideally everything is automated. So if you have something constructed and planned, you press a button, you have a VR training. That's the ideal word. But to go there, it takes some steps. And Chris already said, you have to start.
Yeah, then you will have a digital factory at the end, but one by one. It will take time, but one by one. Yeah, we totally agree with you. So we have a few minutes left. So I would like to leave. If there is any question, this time can be used for the last question. Otherwise, we will wrap up. For those who are interested, this is something that might be really the first triggering point for your company, for your partner ecosystem to start the VR AR movement, VR AR revolution in your own company. So we just want to, our goal here is, the first goal is really to increase the adoption, enterprise adoption of VR. That's why we partnered with all these companies. So they are here for you to share what they have done right, what they have done wrong, and what are the best frameworks available on the market that you can actually implement. And one thing that I would like to share with you, that from Innoactive perspective, Innoactive is actually positioning themselves as an enabler for VR solution partners, for VR solution providers. So this actually gives your, if you are an agency or freelancer, if you have already a Unity knowledge, you can actually pivot your offerings to VR as well. I think this is the value. And at the end of 1 month, you will also have a reference from maybe a, who knows, maybe a large corporation. So we actually want to boost both sides, enterprise adoption and solution provider, tech integrators adoption to VR in the best possible way possible available on the market. Because unfortunately, we are seeing a lot of VR trainings, which is a little bit, how could I say, uncomfortable for the end user. So it is very important, especially for an end user, enterprise decision maker, exposed to a VR training experience in the most comfortable way possible, because the perception of this first 5 minutes about VR can really kill all the potential VR transformation opportunities in the future. So if you will start from somewhere, I think this is the best way. If you already started before, you can still use this masterclass to have rapid development skills for both parties. Thank you, Justin. I will connect with you as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I would like to thank to Rahel and Christian, Chris Koomen, and everyone here today. We are hoping to see some of you next week. We are looking forward to already share the concrete outcomes from the masterclass. And I wish you a very great week, and see you in the next webinar.
Thank you all.